From the WDAY News Center, this is Ty Schoenert, and it's time for your Flag News Update. News this hour brought to you by Freedom Matters USA. Travel difficulties are mounting in North Dakota. I-94 remains closed between Fargo and Dickinson, and I-29 is now closed between the FM Metro and the South Dakota border. U.S. Highway 52 also remains closed most of the way from Minot to Jamestown. Many parts of the state are also back under no travel advisories or alerts because of poor road conditions. You can learn more details by going to our website. Grand Forks Mayor Brandon Buczynski touted the economic benefits of the Fufang Group's plan to build a new corn processing plant in the city.
You certainly got property tax. You got it's going to be a huge boon. You can look at probably cutting 7 or 8 mills just from one company.
The project is moving forward after Tuesday's announcement from a federal agency saying the land purchase for the project is not a covered transaction under federal law. Some Minnesota lawmakers want to make school lunches free for all students. That was the case during the pandemic, but that program expired this fall. As leaders consider what to do with the state's over $17 billion budget surplus, many have advocated for a permanent policy that would feed every student in school, regardless of income requirements. And if you want to take kiddos to see Santa, the Dilworth Fire Department has you covered. Santa will be at the fire department from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday. The department says you can take your own photos of Santa, or they'll take and print photos for you for a small charge. The event is otherwise free to attend. This is Ty Schoenert at The Flag at AM1100theflag.com. First at the news when you need to know.
Did you know you could be a part of feeding the world? Earn top pay while helping farmers. Red E is a Fargo, North Dakota-based company that is helping farmers rebuild their planting and seeding equipment. They have immediate openings for mechanics to go on-site to farms and install their proven products. Enjoy fantastic benefits, incredible quarterly profit sharing, weekends at home, and more. Apply today at rede-ag.com. That's red, the letter E, -ag.com.
COVID is on the rise. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The White House response coordinator says cases are up across 90% of the country.
So far nationally, in our analysis of the data, death numbers are just beginning to rise. We obviously want to make sure that does not go any further.
So Dr. Ashish Jha is appealing again for Americans to get the updated COVID vaccine, for doctors to prescribe treatments, and for governors to take action.
Secretary Becerra is sending out a letter to all governors underscoring that our partnership with state and local leaders has been essential to fighting this virus. But the secretary also made clear we need them to step up right now.
He says the plan to make this winter better than last winter also includes more free COVID tests available at covidtests.gov. Lawmakers are trying to buy more time to reach agreement on federal spending while avoiding a government shutdown.
The House approved a 1-week continuing resolution extending a government funding deadline from tomorrow night until late next week.
The 117th Congress hasn't had a single government shutdown, not one, not even for a day. I hope we don't start now, just as we approach the finish line.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is urging a drama-free bipartisan vote as negotiators continue working behind the scenes on a much broader bill, a more than $1.5 trillion package that would fund the full government through September.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. The 1-week stopgap clearing a procedural hurdle so far in the Senate this afternoon. Recession fears take over again on Wall Street, the Dow dropping 764 points. A former Texas police officer convicted of manslaughter for killing a black woman, Tatiana Jefferson, shot through the rear window of her home as officers responded to a call about an open front door. The officers testifying that thought the house might have been burglarized and Jefferson was armed. Body cam footage shows they did not identify themselves as police. America's listening to Fox News.
Dell Technologies' Days of Deals for Business start now with fresh, limited quantity deals on tech to drive productivity. Save on select performance laptops and desktops powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything, and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Hey, did you get that proposal done?
They can wait till tomorrow.
Some things can wait.
Should we book those flights to see your folks?
We can do it later.
But untreated COVID isn't one of them. If you're 50 or older or have a chronic condition, COVID can be deadly. Got COVID symptoms? Talk to a doctor and get treatment right away, because it just can't wait. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
A winter storm warning remains in effect throughout the valley until 9 o'clock tonight, as well as a blizzard warning west of the valley until 6 a.m. Friday morning. Throughout this evening and tonight, areas of blowing snow with scattered snow showers. We'll have a north-northwest wind 15 to 30 and an overnight low of 23. 23 is your high on Friday morning, falling temperatures into the teens with patchy blowing snow and some light scattered snow showers. A northwest wind 15 to 30 with 2 to 4 inches of additional accumulation. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Today's weather is brought to you by Summit Carbon Solutions. The ethanol industry is critical for the North Dakota economy and our farmers. Summit Carbon Solutions is opening new economic opportunities for ethanol producers and helping maintain a strong market for corn growers while generating millions of dollars in new property taxes to help local communities support our schools and hospitals. Visit summitcarbonsolutions.com to learn how this project is driving the future of agriculture in North Dakota.
Live from the PetroSurge USA studio, it's the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free.
Like a river raging strong.
Welcome to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free. Truth and freedom. We've got some breaking news here coming up in today's show. Representative Jim Casper is joining us here in a moment. We're hoping to have a weather update for you, but we have a missing, this is a good alliteration, a missing meteorologist. So we're working on that, but we definitely want to give you an update because it's starting to clear up a little bit now as I look out the window over the interstate. But boy, it has just been brutal throughout the day. I went out about around lunchtime just to grab some food, and people are in the ditches and just all over the place. It is one hot mess. So if you want to be a road warrior for us today, we'd love your updates as to what's happening across the roads. Wherever you are, you can call into the show and let us know. Gosh, I'm rhyming like crazy already today. Call into the show and let us know. 701-271-1100. 701-271-1100. And some fascinating breaking news that we're going to have for you in today's show from Representative Jim Casper. So just pay attention for that. That will be coming up at some point whenever he wants to drop that breaking news. If you want to text us as well, actually, you know what? I'm not going to say text us if you're out there driving on these roads. Don't text us. Just call us. But if you do want to text in the show, you can do it at 701-203-2260. Again, 701-203-2260. Our captain of the ship today, Steve Hallstrom, is captaining the ship again. So it's good to see him in there and doing his thing. Steve, if you end up getting Justin on the line, Justin Storm, the perfect name for a meteorologist, please let us know, because I think a weather updates is probably more important today than when it was on Tuesday. When we first had him on Tuesday, I was thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to have this massive storm. Be ready. See what happens comes Wednesday. It was kind of a dud. I wanted to play the Bill Murray line again. Maybe we'll play I don't think the Hearts is going to come down for a while yet. So maybe we'll play a little Bill Murray, because it didn't come down. And then today I was just like, whoosh, swept across the system. I'm like, what is happening right now? This is not what I wanted for a Friday Eve, but that's what we've got. So hopefully Justin will be catching up to us here in just a moment and giving you the latest on what you can anticipate heading into the evening. And again, you want to be aware of your travel schedule for the holidays. Next week is going to be just brutally, brutally cold. I know there's been some late flights in and out of Fargo today. The good news, Incarnate Word, they made it. In fact, I think they're going to be landing, I was told, in about 8 minutes. Incarnate Word is supposed to hit the ground here in Fargo. So game on. As we talked about earlier this week, it will be a track meet on Friday night, which is obviously tomorrow night, 6 p.m. is kickoff. Should be a doozy of a football game. They put up 66 points against Sacramento State last weekend. And Sac State, they were undefeated going to the game. Sac State, the coach got hired by Stanford, so clearly he's doing something right at the program and running a pretty good show there. And so to put up 66 points on an undefeated team, coach goes to Stanford. It's going to be fun to watch what happens tomorrow night. We'll have a preview for you tomorrow on tomorrow's Feel Good Friday show here on the Chris Berg Show. And so if we get Justin, great. Otherwise, we've got Representative Jim Casper here in studio with us. There is a lot to discuss. And again, I want to give out the phone number because Jim's going to have some breaking news. We're going to break down the governor's budget address, which I think was that last week already? It seems like, I don't know when it was, but it was fairly recent. And the big thing is this is, I shared this story with you before, but a while back I was speaking out at the North Dakota Petroleum Council event in Watford City. And the whole premise of this show, the premise of the conversation in Watford City was, what can you and I be doing to make North Dakota the freest state in the nation? Like, if there was one thing that you and I could do to make North Dakota the freest state in the nation, what would that be? So I'm speaking to a bunch of oil and gas people. I thought for sure it's going to be about taxes or the business climate, or, there was a myriad of things that I sort of presupposed were going to be the conversation drivers. I get done with my talk and I had 4 or 5 people walk up to me and they said, Chris, if you truly want to make North Dakota the freest state in the nation, I've got 2 words for you. I'm thinking no taxes. Like, that's got to be it. These are business guys, right? Every single one of them, like, Chris, I got 2 words for you. School choice. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, school choice. That's the ticket to making North Dakota the freest state in the nation. I was like, okay, you know what? You always got to take the customer's feedback, right? And then roll with it. And so we're going to have that conversation today as well with Representative Jim Casper, because he has told me that there's a couple bills right now that I think Legislative Council is working on to get through this session. We'll see exactly how it's going to get paid for. I'm a huge proponent of economic savings accounts. Economic education savings accounts. They're called ESAs. We'll dive into that as well. So again, number to call in, 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. Representative Casper, it's great to see you. Welcome to the show. And thanks for driving in on this nutty weather day.
Well, it was moving pretty slow out there, Chris. I thought I had given myself plenty of time, and I just squeaked in. So I'm glad to be here.
You made it in plenty of time. We roll sometimes around here. So let's talk about governor's budget. What was the thing that jumped out most to you?
Wow, there's a whole lot of new spending, a lot of economic development incentives, which that's an argument on whether or not we should be using the state's dollars to do that, because there's a lot of grants in his budget, and grants are gifts from the state of North Dakota to an entity. And the interesting are
like Fufang.
Yeah, well, maybe I hope not, but
I've got no reason to know if there's any grants to Fufang. I'm just saying that was clearly the reason that we're following through is for economic development reasons.
I appreciate that we need to be a state that is welcoming to new people and new businesses. But we also have something called the North Dakota Constitution, which says that the state of North Dakota cannot give its dollars to citizens or to entities. And we've been doing that, frankly, for years. I've been there now going on 22 years. And every session, we grant somebody something, and it's unconstitutional. So if we're going to keep on doing what we're doing, we should change the Constitution. Having said that,
wait. Let's just not roll over that, because that's been the big conversation. Everyone's like, hey, let's just be Alaska and give the citizens back the oil money. Then we had the legacy fund, and now you're saying that, hey, Chris, I didn't know the entities piece. You're telling me that in the Constitution it says no people, no entities, and yet we've been doing that now for years. So who should we prosecute?
Well, the interesting thing is when the legislature passes a bill, it is considered constitutional until it's challenged, and 4 out of the 5 Supreme Court justices have to rule it unconstitutional. So what we pass without a challenge is constitutional, even though the Constitution says it isn't.
So why don't you guys just pass them and says, hey, we're going to give the money back to the people?
Well, that's a whole nother issue. The legacy fund really wasn't designed. The first bill was in 2007 to save some of those oil funds, because right now almost half of our state budget is dependent on oil. And someday it's going to run out. Either it's going to run out, or the green wave across the country, the climate change idiots are going to stop the oil production, as Biden is trying to do right now. So the goal of the legacy fund is to build it large enough so that we can sustain a state budget that we're used to spending. And that we've been on a spending spree for the last 10 years because we've had so much money to spend.
I think so. Let's back up. I didn't think this conversation was going to go here, but let's go there. Jim Casper's in studio with us. Number to call in, 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. This is where I've always had kind of a challenge with, look, I get the legacy fund. I think it's probably a good thing. But like right now with inflation, I mean, you can go out there and you can find people. There's a lot of people listening right now, Jim, that have got more month than they do money. You know what I mean by that?
Well, yeah,
They're getting to the end of the month and going, "Hey, how am I going to pay for food? How am I going to pay for gas? Right?" And yet, I'm going to clump you in this. You guys have got about 80 different savings accounts and SIF accounts and these accounts. And like, at what point do you finally say, okay, we've got enough for a rainy day? We've got inflation at 7-8%. People are struggling. Let's just give it, like, even this income tax deal. The fact we're going to go down to 1.5 or whatever, just why not just get rid of it?
Well, the governor's proposal to do a flat tax of 1.5% would give anyone with an income of 56,000 or less single, or 90 some thousand or less married couple, no state income tax. The rest of the people above those levels would still pay at 1.5%. That's about a $230 million cost or savings to the people in North Dakota. That's a big number. But the problem is, as you know, people don't talk about the state income tax. They talk about property tax. So there's another proposal to address property tax from Senator Shively out of the Mott area, and that would buy down another 15% of the school costs. Right now, we fund the state funds about 70%, a little over $10,600 per student per year. And if we go up another 15%, theoretically, the property taxes for the schools, which is over 50% of the property tax that people pay, should come down by that amount. But in the past, when we've bought down property tax through the state legislature, which we don't implement and we don't put it out there, it's local tax, the spending doesn't go down. Why not? I've been talking to people in schools all over North Dakota. One of the things they're telling me is the administrative morass is huge. You've got principals upon assistants to the assistants in the administration that really are doing nothing but taking up space, is what they're telling me. I just talked to a school board member from the Bowman area this morning, and he said when he got on the school board and found out the mess it's in, he resigned and took his kids out of public school, and he's now homeschooling them.
So I want to get to that because one of the things that Governor Burgum said in his budget address is, hey, when you subsidize something, you get more of it. So if you're going to subsidize local spending or property taxes at the state level, then you're going to get more local spending. He says that literally, then 30 seconds later says, oh, by the way, we're going to spend more on per pupil student. So it didn't seem to add up. Let's table that for a moment. Let's go back to the income tax piece. So I get the 1.5% thing. My point to you is, I mean, is there a possibility that we're just spending more money on administrative costs in the tax commissioner department than we are actually even? It just seems like, why not just get rid of the income tax, zero it out for everybody? Then we don't have to spend any money on FTEs as far as dealing with income taxes, and we can just let them deal with other stuff.
Well, Chris, as I said, in the governor's proposal, most of the people in North Dakota won't pay any income tax. 56,000 or less in a single, or 90 some thousand or less married, they're going to pay zero income tax. So the bulk of the dollars the tax relief will go to the people that need it the most, but it's not enough. You talked about inflation. You talk about inflation when President Trump left office, we didn't have inflation, and this person that we have in the president's office now, and his proposals that he's put in place and what he stopped of the Trump's proposals that were there, has created the inflation we've got. And I think most of it's attributable to his policy on energy and his policy on migration coming into our nation. But we can't do anything about it unless the Democrats wake up and say, you know what, maybe as a Congress, we're going to change our tune, because this president is bought and paid for by the ultra left. And then as long as he's in office, the good thing is we have the House of Representatives now controlled by the Republicans that can stop some of the idiocy. Yeah. But we need more.
You know, you bring up a really good point, and I was going to talk about this yesterday and didn't, but it's amazing to watch what the Federal Reserve is doing by raising these rates. They're going to put us into a recession next year, and yet they can't do anything about energy prices. Like if Biden would just simply start pumping Bakken oil, you're going to see all that go down. Inflation's going to go down, and it becomes a moot point. But instead, here we are sitting at looking at it. I mean, the Dow was down 800 points today because people are afraid of a recession. All right, when we come back, Representative Jim Casper sticking around. If you want to call into the show, 701-271-1100. We're going to dive into this idea of subsidizing local property taxes from the state. Good idea, bad idea, and what does that really mean for you? And most importantly, our education system and school choice. Stick around, much more coming up right here on The Chris Berg Show.
Your farm and business depends on a reliable source for energy. PetroServe USA is the customer-owned co-op committed to being a stable source of fuel for your equipment and propane to dry your grain. We have the capacity to make sure you never run out of fuel and to keep prices stable. Dependability, competitive prices, and exemplary service. That's PetroServe USA, helping America fuel better.
USA.
Call today.
At 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wing shoes for ultimate durability.
Do you have money in the bank or the stock market? Do you check the balance often? Why wouldn't you do the same for your biggest asset, your home? If you want to know right now what you could sell your home for in this hot market, go to FargoHomeValues.com. Type in any address and find out instantly. You might be surprised how much you could get for your home. Again, that website is FargoHomeValues.com, or call me, John Nosala, for a personal valuation. Find out more at jkpropertypartners.com.
You've heard me talk about MyPillow and the good night's sleep that I get. Well, guess what? Mike Lindell continues to roll out offers on his products. His latest on the towel set. Towels aren't something you think about often. I tell you, I never knew what I was missing until I tried the towels last year. Mike Lindell has done it again. Now changing the game with his 6-piece towel set. This set is made with USA cotton, making it extremely absorbent, yet still providing that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths, typically retailing for $89.98. For a limited time, get this set for the low price of $39.98 with the promo code SCOTT. Remember, all MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Just go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials. Get this insanely low price of $39.98 on the 6-piece towel set. You'll find deep discounts on other MyPillow products, too. Enter promo code SCOTT or call 800-506-9028 for these great specials.
What's the best product I bought this year? Oh, that's easy. Salonpas pain relieving patches. The proven medicines in Salonpas patches reduce my pain and let me do the things I need to do every day.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas reported improved sleep, mood, and the ability to work. They had less pain and were able to reduce their use of oral pain medications.
For pain, I use Salonpas. It's good medicine.
He sent me to. My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure for fast, powerful nighttime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free.
I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer.
We'll take a cup of cheer. If you want to email the show, very easy to do. studio@chrisbergshow.com. Again, studio@chrisbergshow.com. I want to say thank you so much to Red Wing Shoes for sponsoring our studio email inbox. Go check out Teresa at Red Wing Shoes. If you're someone who's out there and you just want some beautiful work boots that are customized to your feet, they're protective, so they're going to protect you while out there working hard. But most importantly, because they're customized to your feet, they are very, very comfortable and durable and perfect for someone out there who's on your feet for a long time and just need some stability and some comfort. Again, it's Red Wing Shoes at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo, and that's Teresa at Red Wing Shoes. Representative Jim Casper is in studio. If you want to call in and ask any questions, 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. So we're talking about the governor's budget, which is going to help us move into this conversation around school choice. I do want to go back up to the subsidize. He says, hey, we can't subsidize from a state perspective property taxes, because if you subsidize something, you get more of it. But then in the next breath, he goes, hey, by the way, we are going to increase per pupil spending, which is thus the state subsidizing K through 12 education, which I didn't realize he said is the biggest line item on the budget, $2.3 billion. And we're spending $7 million a day in North Dakota on K through 12. Are we getting a good ROI on that investment?
Well, that's debatable.
Debatable?
When
Let me
you
give you
when
some
you
numbers and you tell me
yeah.
what's debatable. 8th grade reading, 25% proficiency. 8th grade math, 23% proficiency. What's debatable about that?
Well, from that perspective, nothing. I mean, too many schools have lost the direction on where they ought to be going. They're getting into social engineering. They're getting into critical race theory. They're getting into transgender concepts. They're beginning to counsel kids who might be confused about their gender. The teachers are being told that they have to discuss these social issues in the classroom. The other thing I've talked with a number of teachers is the lack of discipline in the classroom, Chris. They're saying they've lost control. One school teacher here in Fargo said 70% of her class is wasted in disciplinary problems. How can she teach when the administration does not apply discipline to the students? The inmates are running the prison, and I don't mean that figuratively as far as our schools, but we've got to stop that. The schools have got to focus back on reading, writing, arithmetic, and the sciences, and get out of the social engineering. There's bills, and I'll be a sponsor of a number of them that are going to address just that. We did pass a bill in the special session in November that said schools in North Dakota cannot teach critical race theory. I've had conversations with people all over North Dakota since then. They're ignoring it. The teachers are being taught in their time when they have administrative discussions and learning that here's what you have to talk about, and they give them instances. Then they're talking about the proper pronouns and all that stuff. That stuff should not be in the classroom. It should be a parent's responsibility to discuss these things with their children, not the schools.
So who's giving them the dictate that, hey, this is what you need to teach in the classroom? And are the administrators suggesting this because some sort of financial incentive to it, or it doesn't make any sense?
There is no financial incentive.
So why are they doing it?
It's a woke agenda. We have people who believe in these social engineering aspects, and for whatever reason think it has to be done in the schools, and not only North Dakota, it's all over the country. This has been an agenda, Chris, that the liberal side of the spectrum has been pushing for 30 or 40 years. It hasn't just started. But in the next session, we're going to address it. There's going to be many bills that are going to really focus on getting the schools back to teaching what they should be teaching, getting out of social engineering, and protecting our parents' rights. Because too many times our parents have lost their rights. They're criticized. They can't even speak at school board meetings. They're shouted down or shut off by the school board. What can people do? One of the things people can do is run for school board and make the change at their local level, because, again, the school district is run at the local level.
I agree with that. I think that a lot of times too, you got to figure out a way to leverage the money, and that's where I think school choice comes in. So let's dive into that. You heard my story at the top of the show about if we want to make North Dakota the freest state in the nation, then you got to have school choice. I was shocked that actually we don't have that. So let's just start at the basics. Oh, thank you. I didn't see that. So let's get to the phone calls first, and then we'll dive into the school choice conversation, because I want to have you just define it for people, because someone called in the other day and was like, hey, my kid can go to another school. And I think that's more open enrollment than it is school choice. So let's get the distinction there. First, of course, go to the phone calls. If you want to call in, 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. Ben from Fargo, welcome to the show. What's your point of view?
Well, hi. I want to apologize. I kind of listened in halfway through the conversation. Are you folks talking about funding of public schools?
Sure. If you want to go there, we got Representative June Castor with us. Let's go there.
All right. Yeah. So I want to figure out, I was amazed to hear that the proficiency is in the upper 20s. That's pretty sad, but it kind of rings a bell. I haven't done any actual number study of it, but the gist that I get, I'm currently in college. The gist that I get is that the children that come from public schools are leagues behind the children that go to either large schools like in the Twin Cities, or they go to a private school. There is a noticeable difference in the performance and their ability to succeed in college.
Wow. Can you be more specific? So what I'm hearing you say is, hey, Chris, I'm in college, and the kids that are coming from North Dakota high schools are way behind educationally compared to what you're seeing from other school districts or private schools. Is that an accurate assessment on my part?
That's what I'm saying. Again, I haven't done a study or done any numbers or anything, but it's just kind of the gist feeling that I've gotten. for like a perfect example is I was taking a class and I was having trouble with it, and I was talking to one dude. I was like, "Oh, how do you understand all this?" He's like, "Well, they taught us this in high school." And to me, it's like, "Well, this is really adult, advanced stuff. Why would a 14-year-old be learning this? It's complex, it's difficult." And he was like, "Well, we had the funding." I was like, "Well, no wonder this becomes easy to this guy." And that's just something I've noticed time and time again with different subject matters. You know, you have kids who are coming in with practically 2 years of college experience already, and they're being taught that at the high school level. It's not some extracurricular thing where they have to do a college and high school. They're being taught calculus in the classroom. And that just isn't a thing that you see a lot at smaller public schools. Now, granted, the argument could be made that in rural areas, they don't need it because maybe they're going to go work somewhere like DigiKey or they're going to farm, and I understand that. But there's a definite difference there in people that go to private schools versus public.
Ben, great phone call. I want to get your assessment on that, Representative Casper. And before we do, just to also create some more context, if you look at, I don't know what it is now, but just a few years ago at NDSU, I mean, you had 25-30% of the students that were taking remedial classes just to get caught up that were coming out of North Dakota high schools. And what makes me so upset about that is that not that NDSU didn't care, but they were taking full tuition. Like, you're going to write those checks. We don't know if you're going to make it or not, but you're going to write those checks. So your comments on Ben's call.
Well, his observation is actual because he's there in the classroom, at the college level. I would say that not all of these students coming out of North Dakota needed remedial, and a lot of the students were coming from other states as well. We don't want to just put North Dakota out there as we're the only state. But the fact is, the data shows that if you're homeschooled or if you're in a private school, you have higher grades or higher testing scores, and you're more prepared because they're focusing on what they ought to be focusing on, the religious schools as well. So again, in the next session, there's going to be bills to address that, to compel the school districts in our state to get out of social engineering, get back to what they should be teaching, and instill discipline in the classroom. The kids have to be ready to learn.
So give us the distinction between school choice and open enrollment in North Dakota.
Well, open enrollment would be that a student could go to any school in the state. And right now, the current situation is, my son was an example. He went to Fargo South his first 3 years. And the fourth year, the Fargo North students, he was a golfer. The Fargo North students recruited him to come to Fargo North, but we had to go to the school board and ask permission. And being Fargo South was overcrowded and Fargo North was not, they allowed him to go to Fargo North his senior year. They ended up winning the state golf tournament, which a championship, which was nice. But so open enrollment is you don't have to ask permission from anybody. You can go any place. School choice is sort of the same thing as open enrollment, but we do have school choice from the perspective a parent can choose to have their student in public school, in private school, or homeschool. So that we do have that choice, but we don't have open enrollment.
I think you mean reverse, right? We currently have open enrollment. We don't have school choice in North Dakota.
No, you do have school choice. The parent can put their student wherever they wish. The parent can homeschool. The parent can put them in private school. Where the problem is we don't have the funding following the student. If a student leaves a public school, the funding stays with the public. Well, we fund per student. So if we have 100 students in one of the schools and one leaves, 99, the funding goes away for that school, but the dollars where the parent puts the student does not follow to the private school.
So we want to have some changes we're going to talk about when we come back. Is should the money follow the student, or should the money fund the system? Should we fund the student or fund the system? That's the question when we come back. Number to call in, 701-271-1100. More from Jim Casper right after this.
Been looking for a golf cart for the lake, cabin, or the course? Largest selection of Club Car Onward golf carts within 150 miles is available at All Season Motorsports. 0% financing. That's 0% financing for up to 36 months on 2022 and 23 Club Car golf carts. All inventory must go. Largest selection of club cars at 0% financing. All Season Motorsports off I-94 and Cheyenne Street, West Fargo. Hurry before they're gone.
From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
70% of your body is water. Does it make any sense to put bad water back into your system for your health? Hi, it's Scott Hennon here from my friends at Lindsay Echo Water. We have a full water treatment system in our home, a reverse osmosis system with mineral add back and a pH boost. It's fantastic. Some people are more worried about what gas they put in their cars rather than the water they drink. Make that a thing of the past for you. LindsayEcoWater.com. LindsayEcoWater.com or call 218-233-8655.
Oil and natural gas help provide the things our counties and communities need. Taxes paid by the oil and natural gas industry fund schools, roads, and flood protection across North Dakota. That means we can run our farms and businesses and educate leaders for our future. It's one of the many ways oil and natural gas are making life better in North Dakota for generations. North Dakota's oil and natural gas, advancing the possibilities.
Hey, it's Kev from the Need to Know Morning Show with my Bottle Barn beverage of the week. We're back to a seltzer this week. It's from Neutral, their vodka cranberry seltzer variety pack. Delicious! Neutral is new to the market. Light, refreshing vodka seltzer made with simple ingredients. Vodka, seltzer water, and real cranberry juice. And available at both Bottle Barn locations, South University Drive and Veterans Boulevard 32nd, where the humidor is. Like the page if you're on Facebook, follow it for specials and sales, and make Bottle Barn your last stop on the way to any occasion.
Your smartphone? It's a lifeline to the outside world, and these days, a direct line to your bank account. At Starion Bank, we see the importance in helping you find balance, helping you get it all done, safely, easily. We want you to be able to safely deposit checks from your mobile device and easily move money to another person, open an account, order a new debit card, and set up account alerts no matter where your life takes you. What are you waiting for? The possibilities are endless. StarionBank.com. Explore banking here. Member FDIC.
They say it's all about location. If your business is looking for commercial real estate, consider Jose Investments. They know the buyers and the sellers. They can fit your business right into the right building, the right size for your staff, and the right location. Jose Investments knows where in town, who the players are, and how to get the deal done. Is 2022 the year you need to make the move into a building that fits your operation perfectly? Give Jose Investments a call today. Call Scott Jose at 701-306-8535.
Make your career merry and brighter at Bethany. This holiday season, Bethany Retirement Living is looking for eager professionals who want to make a difference and create a season for kindness and giving, knowing that Bethany offers flexible hours, great pay, and amazing benefits for both full-time and part-time positions. Come work alongside our Holly and Jolly team. Your future is brighter at Bethany Retirement Living. Apply online at bethanynd.org.
There's one man on this earth who really, truly gets it.
And if we don't start accomplishing things around here, we're not going to be able to save this country. And I suspect the vast majority of conservatives and constitutionalists agree with me. It's time to get to work. It's time to engage this administration. It's time to expose the FBI and the Department of Justice. It's time to come to the defense of pro-life organizations. It's time to fight to secure the border. It's time to get on with it.
Mark Levin is on the radio.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, the fastest hour in radio. Time flies when you're having fun. Whoosh. We got all kinds of breaking news happening right now. Just got informed. Yes, Incarnate Word has landed at Hector International Airport. So game on Friday night, 6 p.m. Bison taking on Incarnate Word's going to be a track meet. As we talked about earlier in the show, Incarnate Word put up 66 points. The final against Sac State was 66-63, and it was not a basketball game. It was a football game. So it's going to be just a blast to watch the game tomorrow night. Some other breaking news here. Westbound Interstate 94 closed near Moorhead. I just got this, so thank you, Scott, for this. Westbound Interstate 94 is temporarily closed near Moorhead for a multi-vehicle traffic-related accident. Traffic should follow signed interstate alternate routes. The road will be reopened once the crash has been cleared. So again, westbound Interstate 94 temporarily closed near Moorhead. Then we've got some other breaking news coming up here because Representative Jim Casper is going to drop some breaking news coming up here in just a moment, and want to remind you that we're coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studio, helping you and America fuel better. If you're going to be driving by Harwood, which things are actually pretty clear right now. So if you're going to be up near Harwood, they've got a big, brand new, beautiful store there. You can pop in, you can fill up on some gas, and then as you head into the store, they've got a Cafe USA with some beautiful burgers, some chicken, some cookies. So pop on in and grab some delicious food there at your PetroServe USA, helping you and America fuel better. All right, Representative Casper, the question of the day is, should our dollars, and everyone says, oh, it's, the government's going to subsidize. No, it's still our money. So our tax dollars, should we fund the student or fund the system? You say there's going to be some bills in this upcoming session that will help fund the student rather than the system. Lay some good news on us today.
Well, there's one bill for sure that I have in my possession that I've seen. I'm not the prime sponsor of that bill. A legislator from Grand Forks is, and I've heard there's another one. And what the bill that I've seen will do is it will take 70% of the state funding for each student that right now goes to a public school. And if that student transfers to a private school or a religious school
or homeschool,
and not the homeschool, from what we've been told, the homeschoolers do not want to be part of a system being overviewed by DPI. So at this point in time, they're not included. We could change that in the session, but right now it isn't. But 70% right now we fund $10,600 per student from the state. That's not counting the property tax. That's from the state of North Dakota. That's that $2.8 billion. So 70% of that 10.6, roughly $7,500. If the students in one of the Fargo schools want to go to Shanley, as an example, 70% of that, or $7,500, would go to Shanley to follow the student. The parent chose to go there with the student, so we're going to take 75% of the dollars. We'll leave 25% of those dollars at the local school to help them get over the shock, so to speak, of losing a student, because they're already geared up to teach all of those students, but they might lose some.
And I appreciate you trying to do that. I know you've got different battles you need to fight in a legislative session, but let's be honest. I mean, they got millions and millions and millions of COVID dollars. Their accounts are so flush right now, they're not going to miss 25%. But I know what you got to do.
Well, that's what the bill says currently.
Okay.
It may not end up
Maybe
that
that'll
way.
change. Good.
This is the proposal that I've seen. So we do have school choice coming in the dollars, because right now when a parent puts their student in private school or religious school, they fund it 100%, and the dollars stay in the system.
Yes. Is there an opportunity to create an education savings account? I mean, is that part of the conversation yet, or?
That I haven't seen that, but that certainly could be looked at. I would not object to that at all. Anytime you can get people to save money for education or any other purposes, it's a good deal.
But what I'm saying is that, so this $7,500, I would prefer to see all of it. The $10,600 goes into an education savings account, and now the family can use that money as they best see fit, kind of like a health savings account. And if they want to spend some of that at an Office Max or whatever to get school utensils, or however they want to do it, that's what Arizona's doing, and it's been very effective for families, and most importantly for scores. So anybody having that conversation yet?
Well, no, because we have something called the North Dakota Constitution. Now you're violating the gifting clause. We, the state of North Dakota, cannot put $7,500 into an individual's private savings account.
But you just told me that constitutionally we can, but we're breaking the law already.
Well, true. But
okay.
This bill says it goes directly to the school, that the student transfers to.
So if I just make myself a government entity, then you guys can give me money all day long. Got it. Okay.
You're catching on, Chris.
It's taken me a while, but I'm getting there. If you want to call into the show, 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. And now you've got some breaking news here, and this is, I think, going to be a very interesting conversation coming up in the upcoming session. I'll let you lay it out, but the breaking news from you today is?
Well, let me go back to why I'm introducing the bill. In the last election, the people of North Dakota voted for term limits for the legislature and for the governor. And it's an 8-year term limit. And after that, you're barred from serving in that chamber for the rest of your life. We've got 27 freshmen coming into the House. Most of them are young, 12 freshmen coming into the Senate. And so we have about a 30% turnover this session alone. So I was totally against term limits. You just barely get to learn the system, and now you're gone. And, there's an 18-year-old out in the Mandan area that was elected. So he's 26, and after that, he can never serve again in the House. That doesn't make any sense. But the people of North Dakota, Chris, were hoodwinked on the advertising from the term limits people. A lot of the people thought they were voting to term limit Congress, not the North Dakota legislature. Remember, we're part-time. Right now, we only are in session every other year for 80 days. So out of 730 days, we serve 80 days. And so a person just barely gets to know the system, and now you're going to be a chairman or a vice chairman of a committee. It doesn't make any sense. So I've drafted a bill that's going to amend the North Dakota Constitution. It'll be on the ballot, so the people have to vote, and it will go to annual legislative sessions. And that way, we will accomplish a whole lot more with an annual session and an opportunity to have our younger legislators in time and grade learn the system.
So rather than 80 days every 2 years, you'd go 40 days every year.
Well, it's going to be a little bit different than 40 days every year. It's going to be a little bit more than 40 days every year, because when you go to a session, you have a startup time and an end time, which really sort of a waste of time for most of us. So I'm adding a few more days it's actually going to be a 50-day every year, but the people have to vote on that. And so it's we'll see. I've been opposed to annual sessions until the people pass term limits. Now we have to do something to address the fact that we're going to lose the experienced legislators after, because of this limit, and we're not going to really have experienced legislators.
Well, and I hope, too, it makes it easier to recruit people. I mean, it's hard for people to take off 80 days every 2 years. Let's get to the phone calls. Number to call in, 701-271-1100, 701-271-1100. Glenn, welcome to the show. What's your point of view?
Well, I was just calling. The Fargo School District had an opportunity for people to go and give their comments on the current budget. There were two of us that showed up to comment, and I don't even think people in Fargo know what the budget of Fargo School District is. It's $175 million this year. $8 million of that is for administration, $38 million for teachers. And yet in the Fargo school system, there is a real lack of discipline. And like you were talking earlier, there is social engineering going on like crazy. I really question the quality of education. And yet, if you look at the size of the budget, it's probably one of the bigger budgets in the city of Fargo. And what can the legislature do to make sure that the schools do what the state constitution says they're supposed to do, and quit doing all of this nonsense of, like, one of the teachers, when her kids came in, she said, if you view that you're a cat or a dog, you will be a cat or a dog in my class. And in other classes, there's kids that are hitting teachers, throwing chairs at teachers. And I asked one of the people that was telling me this, well, did they get the principal? Oh, yeah, the principal came, they hit him too. How do you deal with this stuff?
Glenn, great phone call. Representative Casper?
Well, Glenn is right on. I recognize Glenn's voice. He's a longtime friend of mine. He's right on. As I said earlier, discipline in the classroom is terrible. The administration is not doing their job. The kids are running the roost, and they're not learning. And so we will have bills in the next session, as I said earlier, to address the issue, to try to get the schools back to teaching kids what they should be learning and get out of the social engineering stuff and get the discipline restored. So Glenn, we will be addressing that, and love to have you come out to Bismarck and testify when those bills are going to be there.
One of the things that Glenn mentioned that I think is really important for us to understand, and Governor Berg even touched on this in his address, is if you got an issue with the way things are being done, you got to take action. You got to go out there and be part of the conversation. And when you've got a $170 million budget, now I wasn't there either, so I need to look in the mirror, but a $170 million budget and two people show up, like, we can scream and yell all we want, but if we're not going to get in the arena, there's no really reason to scream. So, Representative Casper, always great to see you. Thank you for the time, sir. We appreciate it.
Been a pleasure, Chris. Anytime.
Thank you.
And of course, the session is starting, so you have to get me on the phone, for the next 4 months.
No worries. We will do that. Stay with us when we come back. It's that time of year. It's the reason for the season. We got a special guest going to give you an opportunity to make it special. Stick around.
For the moment when you first asked, and for all the moments you have made together since that day, Royal Jewelers wants to help you celebrate this Christmas with something that lets your loved one know how much you appreciate all those moments that you have shared along the way. Royal Jewelers has been helping people in the Red River Valley celebrate Christmas for over 95 years. Let Royal help you make Christmas memorable with the perfect gift. Royal Jewelers, downtown Fargo.
End of year is budget time for most companies. This is Scott Hillen here. If you're planning 2023, make sure your plans include Olaf Anderson. They'll make sure the cost The plans, the dates, and the materials are all in line for the project you want to build. Whether it's an addition like us here at Flag Family Media, large or small, or a new build, trust me when I say, the team at Olaf Anderson will not disappoint. Olaf Anderson Construction, your turnkey design build contractor. Visit olafanderson.com.
It's the first unlimited full-service and exterior works wash club at Don's Car Washes. You can have the best of both worlds with unlimited interior and exterior washes at the Don's on 13th Avenue and unlimited exterior washes at the Don's on 52nd Avenue. Truly unlimited washes for only $49.99 per month. Join Don's Unlimited Wash Club. Exterior unlimited washes starting as low as $19.99 per month. It's never been easier to put a smile on your car at Don's Car Washes.
Did you know that medical expenses are the leading cause of bankruptcy? When someone experiences health issues or other trauma, it impacts the entire family, emotionally and financially. Lost wages make it challenging to keep up with expenses, and holidays can be especially stressful. Many families are faced with tough choices. Do they fill the prescription, the fridge, or their children's stockings? This holiday season, you can help your neighbors through Holiday Hand Up, a giving event hosted by Lend a Hand Up. Donations made to Holiday Hand Up now through December 15th boost help for many of your neighbors through one tax-deductible gift. To learn more about local families participating in this year's giving event and to add your support, go to lendahandup.org. That's lendahandup.org. Lend a Hand Up is a subsidiary nonprofit of the Dakota Medical Foundation. Gifts to Holiday Hand Up are matched by Alex Stern Family Foundation and Gateway Chevrolet.
Fair Meadow Nursing Home is a 42-bed skilled nursing facility in Fertile, Minnesota. They pride themselves on the small-town, close-knit home environment feel they provide their residents. Now hiring for the following positions: CNA, LPN, housekeeping aide, or dietary aide. Fair Meadow Nursing Home is committed to providing seniors a rich, meaningful, and dignified life, focusing on physical, social, spiritual, and emotional needs in order to provide the best life journey possible.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch.
Well, if you want to know the antithesis to the words of those songs, that is going to be our next guest. I'm going to bring in a moment here Cassie Schmitz, the antithesis of Mr. Grinch. She's going to go out there and share with us a way that we can all go out and enjoy the reason for the season, and that is obviously the birth of Jesus Christ, and also a chance just to be grateful and go out and just do good things for people, surprise people with goodness, with kindness. And boy, if they're, being in an agrarian area, it's so beautiful because we all get, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. And if there's anything that we need to reap right now, or sow right now, it's kindness. I mean, it is just such a critical element of what we need to be doing in our lives each and every day. Is just going out and sowing kindness wherever it is, opening the door for somebody, smiling, whatever it's on your heart. Because, and I say this, it leads into this perfectly, there's a lot of people right now that are dealing with mental health issues. I mean, you look at the numbers and they are just absolutely staggering what's going on since this whole COVID situation, suicide rates being up, and just, we don't have enough people to help. There really is not enough people to deal with the anxiety, the depression. And then you put the holiday season on top of it, and it's like, holy cow, this is stressful. So if you're dealing with any of that, I want to encourage you. It's not pharma, so there's no pharma involved, but go check out Sarasota Fargo. They're doing some really incredible things with people that are having anxiety, depression, sleepless nights, and it's easy. You just call them up, see if it's the right fit for you. You call them at 701-566-5231, 701-566-5231. That is Sarasota of Fargo. All right, so the opposite of the Grinch is Cassie Schmidt. She's joining us now. She's got a great program she wants to share with us about if it's on your heart to help out some kids and make a difference in their lives. She's going to give us an opportunity to do that. So, Cassie, welcome to the show, and thank you for having such a kind and giving heart.
Well, thank you for having me again, Chris. I was getting a little nervous when that song started playing. Oh, goodness. Yeah, well, I wanted to let everybody know about our second annual Christmas Angel program that we have going on this year. And last year we did it. We're partnering with Cass County Social Services. And when you guys had generously offered to let me on the show here earlier today, we had about 9 kids left. What we're doing is we're matching up kind, generous members of our community with some kids that need some extra love for the Christmas season. Some of them are still in their homes, and their families are just struggling to, take care of day-to-day kind of needs with this inflation and everything that we've been seeing the last couple of years. And they're really struggling to make Christmas special for these kids. And some of them, sadly, are not with their families this year. They're in foster care, other types of situations. And so we got a list of 34 kids that we were trying to match up with community members. We had a few left this morning, and we got them all taken care of. So another need that Cass County is really grateful for this time of year is gift cards. And that's something that a lot of people don't really think about, but it's for Cass County to have a stash of gift cards because a lot of kids come into care with immediate needs that they don't have time to wait for approval for funds for. So sometimes these kids come in and they don't have warm enough clothes, to get them through their school day. Boots or coats or hats or even toiletries, socks, underwear, all that type of stuff that we just really take for granted. We know how expensive everything is getting, and it's just really nice for them to be able to get those needs met right away.
Cassie Schmidt with us. Cassie, I don't know if you've got us on a Bluetooth or whatnot, but if you want to maybe just go straight to your phone because it's cutting in and out at times pretty bad. But so Cassie Schmidt giving us an opportunity here, as you heard. Inflation, we talked about this, Representative Casper, just get rid of the income tax. Let's just, I know it doesn't impact maybe everybody because he talked about what they're going to do already, but let's do what we can. There's so much money in some of these state coffers. Do what you can to put money back in people's pockets and so that they don't have to worry about these kind of situations and help make a difference. So, Cass, if you don't mind, so if people feel led to say, hey, you know what, I'd love to do that. How can I help? How do I get gift cards to Cass County? And what kind of gift cards are they looking for?
Well, they're looking for, and I apologize, I'm calling on my house phone. I'm stuck in 1992 today. My cell isn't working.
Do you have a rotary phone too?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's bad out here. But yeah, they can send the gift cards directly to Cass County Social Services. You can Google their address and then send them postmarked attention Christmas Angel, and they will get where they need to go. Or you can also get a hold of us on Facebook at Let Parents Decide That. I can pick up the gift cards from you. I can coordinate in any way that makes it easy for you to give. I will help in whatever way I can.
So again, that's Let Parents Decide That on Facebook. Let Parents Decide That on Facebook. You can message Cassie directly, and she'll be able to work with you to ensure that you get some gift cards in the right hands to help parents or help.
Or you can call me at 446-7115 for those that aren't on Facebook. 446-7115.
446-7115. 446-7115. Cassie, thank you. And North Dakota and Minnesota, especially in our community, might be the last place on the planet where people are going to give out their cell phone number. Nobody does that anywhere. And Cassie's like, hey, I'll do it so I can help out. So Cassie, thank you. God bless you and Merry Christmas.
God bless, Chris. Thank you. Bye.
Be sure and join us tomorrow. It is a Feel Good Friday. We got a special guest joining us, as we like to do. We like to highlight organizations that are making a great difference in our community. And of course, we're going to be breaking down the Bison Incarnate Word Game as well. That's coming up tomorrow right here at 4 on The Chris Berg Show.